Well, hello, my friends. Soogie has asked me to make a very basic penny whistle lesson, so I've put this presentation together and I'm recording it for you all to enjoy. It's very basic. If you look at your penny whistle, you'll see it has 6 holes. 6 holes only. With those 6 holes, you can play the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That means you can play a lot of tunes, but that's what we're going to learn in this lesson. We're just going to learn to get around those basic do, re, mi's. Okay. With the penny whistle, as with the recorder, we don't have to blow a lot of air like other wind instruments. We just have to blow a steady stream. And so if you find yourself going off into the squealy zone, you're blowing too hard. And so you can just stop that. All right, usually we put our right hand at the bottom, our left hand at the top, and our fingers go in order. And if you look at any tubular type of instrument, like a penny whistle, the longer the tube, which means the more holes that are covered, the lower the pitch. So in order to raise the pitch, and by step, is we raise our fingers. Now you may have to have a little thing there. And then there's a place where there's all open. They're all open. That, and then we might go to the top and give a little vent so that the sound is a little bit more pure. Okay, I'm going to put up my next slide and show you what I mean. And you can just finger along. You don't have to play along the first time, but the beauty of having a recording like this is you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can fast forward if you like, and you can play it as many times as you like, and nobody will bother you about that. So here's our first lesson. If you will notice, you will see first the treble clef, because of course the penny whistle is a treble instrument, just like the singing voice, the female singing voice at any rate. And you see 4/4. That means there are 4 beats in every measure, and every measure has 4 beats. And it is the quarter note 4. The bottom note tells us that the quarter note gets the beat. We're going to see those coming pretty soon, but I'm going to set a metronome for you so that you can hear a really nice steady beat. And I've set it to be 60 beats per minute, which I am told, although it's not mine, that it is the resting heart rate. So this exercise should be very calming for you. Here comes the metronome. Our do starts at the bottom. Re is the next. Lift that finger. Mi. Fa. I'm going to put my finger down. So. La. Ti is everything off. And high do is the same as low do, except you can vent. You can overblow that if you want it to. Excuse me. So we don't really need all of that much breath to blow, but we need to be able to have enough so that it goes steadily. So I want you to think about using your abdominal muscles to breathe in with. And I would like you to think about where your belly button is and take your breath from that point. Think about that. Here it goes. If you look at the first line of music, you'll see that there is a dark black ending bar. That means that that's where we're going to stop that bit. All right, now the thing I didn't tell you is that when we are starting the notes, we're going to start them with our tongue against the back of our teeth. And we're going to go do, do, do. Now you could go to, but that would be a very sharp sound. I think we want to just go do 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 do. So you can practice that without playing. And now we're going to play the second line, which doesn't have a treble clef on it, but that's all right because we're still in the treble clef. And we're going to have 2 beats on every note this time. So we're still going to go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, but we're going to do 2 beats on each. So can you hear the metronome? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is something that you can practice on your own. I've noticed that some people, when they involve their tongue, they stop the breath. We don't want the breath to stop. We just want our tongue to interrupt it so it is on the beat. So what you're going to be practicing is getting your tongue to move at the same time as the metronome is, so that you interrupt the stream of air that's coming out of your lungs with the click of the beat. So I'm just going to choose the low do, and I'm going to just show you what I mean, the difference. Okay, so here's what I want it to sound like. 2, 3, and. The tendency when we're learning to do this is to flatten our tongue too much inside our mouth so that it becomes kind of, well, it stops the sound too long, like this. We don't want that sound. That's not what we want. We want to think of the air as continually coming out, and we just interrupt it with the flick of our tongue. Okay, I'm going to pause a minute and I'll be right back. So as you can see from the title of this piece of music that I put on the screen, and I hope it's big enough for you to see out there at home. I know on a phone it might be kind of small. At any rate, tried to do it on a bigger screen. A tablet should be all right. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yes, as you can see, what we are playing is the major scale ascending. Of course, ascending means going up. So that means in pitch, not in volume or loudness, but in pitch, in tone. Now, the next one that we are going to look at is we're going to speed up our tonguing a little bit. And do you see these notes here with the ball and the tail on them? There's still 4 beats in the bar, but each one of these is only going to occur on 1 beat. So it's still the same ascending scale as we had before, starting on low do, going up to high do. I'll put my metronome on. 5, 6, 7, 8. And you will see, as you heard, I didn't get my last note in there exactly correctly. And this may become a challenge for you. I was just thinking of this to cover those holes that you've got there. Those holes sometimes seem a little hard to manage. But here's what you're doing. You're going to put the pad of your finger over those holes. You're not pointing the points into there, but you're kind of laying your fingers a bit flat. A bit flat. And so if you look at your fingertips, it's where your fingerprint would be that you are just lying flat. So that basically your knuckles on your hands are pretty straight, except for the large ones on the top of your hand where your fingers join. Okay, so that was that part. Let's look at the next scene that I'm looking at here, because we're working on major scale only. That is to get your way around the notes in order. Okay, so the next scene. Now we have our major scale. Oh, for crying out loud. I thought I had myself muted there for a minute. Now we're looking at the descending scale. And of course, that means we're going to start at the top and go down, closing all the holes as we go. Same thing, your right hand on the bottom and your left hand at the top. So let's give that a try, shall we? I'll put the metronome on. 5, 6, 7, 8. Good for you. So as you practice doing this, if you do it every day, your hand and your fingers learn the muscle memory of where the holes of that penny whistle are. And I don't want to go any slower than this because you'll run out of breath very easily. And probably maybe some of you think that you're already running out of breath. Trust me, you will get better. Okay, so now we're going to try this. We're going to do the second line of this music, which is half notes, 2 beats on each note, and it's still a major scale descending. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Ready, go. Good job. I forgot to mention that I'm playing on a D whistle. The D whistle is one of the most common ones that you would use. So the scale that you play is D, but it sounds in C. And so if you want to change key on penny whistles, you have to change penny whistles. And that you can just start buying them one at a time, ordering them as you like. But they play visually, using the same fingering, they play in D. They sound a different key, but they play in D. So you are playing on the D whistle, which is the most common one. Okay, let's go to our last slide here now. Now we're going to once again practice our do, 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 playing our descending major scale, starting on high D. Are we ready? 2, 3, go. So there you go. You have just completed the D scale, ascending and descending. How about if you try this without even looking at the music? How about if we try playing 2 notes on each scale letter? So we'll start ascending, we'll start at the bottom, we'll go ascending, we'll go do, do, re, re, mi, mi, fa, fa, so, so, la, la, ti, ti, do, do. Then we'll descend. Do, do, ti, ti, la, la, so, so, fa, fa, mi, mi, re, re, do, do. You know, if you can't quite play it at that speed or play along, you can always hold your instrument in your hand and put your fingers and move your fingers where they're to go. But let's try this again. So I'm going to do that on the whistle, starting on low do. And then we'll be finished for this lesson. 2, ready, go. Now we're going to descend. Good job. Very good. Okay, so I hope this has helped you, and give a thumbs up to the video if you liked it. Share it around if you want other people to learn how to do this. So this is your very basic, and we will look forward to presenting basic part 2 pretty soon. Have a great one. Keep hydrated. Go have a drink.